Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome back to the subject of Islamic banking and finance. Today is our second lecture. Today we will discuss the definition of Islamic banking, the six principles, the main principles, the basic principles of Islamic banking, the difference between Islamic banking and conventional banking, the most famous financial institutions on the base of Islam in the world, and the main operations of Islamic banking. Let's start with the definition of Islamic banking. The Islamic banking is the institution which works on the principles of Sharia. Principles of Sharia mean all the statutes, all the laws, all the rules and regulations, all the procedures, all the operations which are based in Islamic banking are on the base of Sharia, and bans the receipt and payments of interest on any of operation. This is the Islamic banking's definition. In Islamic banking definition, we see that all the statutes, all the rules and regulations, all the procedures, all the operations, all the activities are based on Sharia. They are on the base of principles of Sharia, and bans the payment and receipt of any kind of interest on any of its operations. Moreover, the Malaysian Banking Act in 1983 defines an Islamic bank as the act, the law which was passed in 1983 by the Malaysian Islamic Banking is a company which carries on Islamic business. Now, what does Islamic business means? Islamic business means banking business whose aims and operations do not involve any element which is not approved by the religion of Islam. This is called Islamic banking, and this definition was given by the Act of 1983 by the Malaysian Islamic Banking. It means that Islamic business means that any law is prohibited, any activity is prohibited which is opposed to the Islamic rules and regulations, which are opposed to the Islamic law, which are opposed to the Sharia. This is called Islamic business, and Islamic business is called Islamic banking. Islamic banking is banking that complies with Sharia or Islamic law. The banking business have these 7 operations, 7 principles, basic principles, which conventional banks work on first 4, and the Islamic banks works on the last 3. The first 4 are the main objects, the main aims, the main operations, the main objectives of the conventional banking. First aim is to the authorization of deposit taking institution. Any authorized organization, any authorized institution that take any deposition or pays any clearance is called is called bank. Next aim of the bank is intermediation. Intermediation means that the bank works, the bank stands as the middleman for the savers and investors. They are intermediaries, they are middlemen. The third aim of the bank is to pool money, the pool funds from surplus. The institutions the societies, the persons, the savers who have money of surplus. They pool those money. They pool the money from the persons, from the institutions, from the organizations, from the corporations who have surplus. Then provide these pooled money, these pooled fund to the deficit units. Deficit units means to investors, the needed units, the units, the institutions, the organizations who have need of money. Number 4, the fourth main objective, the main aim of the bank is to manage payments and clearing system. What is the managed payments? The EFTPOs, electronic fund transfer at point of sale. What is electronic fund transfer at point of sale? These are the machines which are provided by the institutions, by the corporations, by the organizations in points where sale is exhausted. Buyers purchase the products from the place where products are available and pay their prices by electronically by machine. This is called EFTPOs. Cards such as debit cards, credit cards and other cards. BPays, it's short for bill payments. They also manage the payments of bill payments. They also electronically collect the bills of different organizations, of different things such as bills of electricity, bills of gas and etc. And at the last, they also manage the payments of checks, the clearing system of checks, such as checkbooks. Every investor in the bank has a checkbook. So these are all 4 main basics, main operations, main procedures of the banks. Islamic and conventional banks have these 4 plus these 3 under or written 3 basic aims of the Islamic banks. The prohibition of riba means interest. Interest is prohibited in all these functions. Gharar is prohibited in all these functions. What does gharar mean? Excessive uncertainty. Excessive uncertainty means speculative behavior, speculation. It means that high risky things are prohibited in the Islamic banks. Haram is prohibited. What is haram? Impermissible activities. Impermissible activities means that they do not invest in projects which are haram by Islamic law. For example, human trafficking. They do not invest in human trafficking. They do not invest in the wine projects and other haram projects of the world. The next aim of the Islamic bank is implementation of profit and loss system. PLS, profit and loss sharing system. They implement the profit and loss sharing system. It means that they also share to the investors, to the savers, the profit of their invested money as well as the loss of their invested money to the investors or to the savers. The next procedure, the next operation, the next aim of the Islamic bank is the emphasis on productivity and real economic activity rather than credit worthiness. It means that they do not involve in the taking of money on money, such as interest. They work, they invest in the real economic activities and in productivity. Productivity means 2 plus 2 is equal to 5, which is equal to efficiency. They work on productivity. It means that they invest the money, the pooled money, which is pooled, which is collected from the investors, which is collected from the savers. They make productivity of that money. How they bring this productivity? By investing in real economic activities. What are real economic activities? Real economic activities means they invest this money in the real assets such as stocks, real stocks, such as common stocks and preferred stock in the stock exchange market. So these are the real economic activities. Real economic activity example is investing in the real assets such as stocks, common stocks and preferred stocks, as well as the other example of real economic activity is the investment in different projects such as road constructions, building constructions, dam constructions, as well as hospitals constructions and etc. These are all real economic activities, as well as in mortgages, in real estate. They also invest in real estate. So these are all the activities by Islamic banks. Next, the flow of money. How money is going from the savers to the investors. Money starts to mobilize from the fund providers. Who are fund providers? They are savers. They want to save their money because they have surplus of money. So they want to save their money in different institutions. So they mobilize their funds to the banks, who are intermediaries. Banks are middlemen. They act as middlemen. So then these pooled money, this fund is provided to the deficit units. But in the middle of the providing or allocating of funds to the deficit units, the Islamic banks work on real economic activities such as real assets in projects, in services and etc. What is the mechanism of deposition? Mobilizes funds from savers according to return and liquidity, means withdrawal. To return to efficiency in mobilization of funds is improved with increase in the range of financial assets and instruments. Allocation of funds is facilitated through various financing products based on personal loan. It means that they provide personal loans, they make joint ventures, they make mortgages. Mortgages means investment in real estate, but on the base of Islamic finance, like mudarba. They make mudarba with other institutions, they make musharaka with other institutions and so on. Next, how the profit is converted, mobilized. How the profit is converted or mobilized, mean flow of profit. Now, when the Islamic banking works on the real economic activities, it means that they invest their money in real assets, in different projects or in different services. Then they provide this profit to the banks, who are middlemen, or they provide this profit to the deficit units. Then banks share, banks provide this profit to the surplus units, savers, who are fund providers. Unique risk and return needs and expectations by savers and investors are matched through the creation of a range of financial products and services. Use of the funds is of primary concern in Islamic banking and finance. Making money out of money is by lending it on interest is prohibited in Islam. Profits are a result of economic activities that links money with real assets, projects, services and so on. Next, we have 6 principles of Islamic banking. The first principle, which is very famous, the definition of Islamic banking is also on the basis of the first principle of the Islamic banking, which is prohibition of predetermined loan payments on interest or riba. It means that any investor, any saver cannot predetermine their profit for their loans. Islamic banking will not accept those loans which have a predetermined profit system, which is called interest, which is called riba. Next principle of the Islamic bank is the profit and loss sharing. Before we talked about it, they also share profit to the savers, they also share the loss to the savers, which is heart of the Islamic banking system or Islamic financing system. Third principle of the Islamic banking is making of money out of money is unacceptable, with all financial transactions needing to the asset based system. Next is prohibition of speculative behavior. Before again I talked about it, speculative behavior. Speculative behavior is a purchase of the assets or commodities or goods or real estate with the hope that it will become more valuable in the near future. In finance, speculation is also the practice of engaging in risky financial transactions in an attempt to profit from short-term fluctuations in the market value of tradable financial instruments. This is called speculation behavior. Speculation behavior is on expectations of these investors. Investors expect that in the purchase of short-term assets for the more profit in near future. Next, or the fifth principle of the Islamic banking is Sharia approved contract being acceptable. Means all the operations, all the procedures which are approved by the Sharia are acceptable, otherwise they are not acceptable. The sixth principle of the Islamic bank is sanctity of contract. Sanctity of contract. Sanctity of contract means that when both of the parties entered into the contract, they will honor their obligations under that contract. This is called sanctity of contract. This is sixth principle of Islamic banking. They will not have any fraud in their contracts. They will not provide any haram activities in their contracts. They honor their obligations under that contract. This is called sanctity of contracts. Sorry. The ethical principles on which Islamic finance is based may bring banks closer to their clients and to the true spirit which should mark every financial service. These are all the Islamic banking and finance around the world. The IBB, Islamic Bank of Britain, Morgan Stanley, Bank of Dubai, Islamic Bank of Dubai, the Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank, the Amana, HSBC, UBS, these are all Nasdaq in Dubai. These are all institutions which work on Islamic banking system. These are Islamic banks and finance institutions in Australia. NAB, National Accountability Bureau, Westpac, Making the Most of Life, the MCCA, Baitul Tahwil Al Kuwaiti. These are all the institutions working in the Australia on the base of Islamic rules and regulations. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, dear students. I hope you got my message. Again, if you have any question regarding today's lecture, you can ask me through your WhatsApp group. For now, have a good time. Have a nice time. Khuda Hafiz.